About an increase of 4,000 to 12.5. At least 7,000 is enough for us. 4,000 is nothing, man. Salute. We are working very hard.
But abantu bakhumbule Marikana, that incident eyenzeka ngexesha lethu and yenzeka njani into enje ungohlobo once again kwimizimba eminyama when sine-history engaka esixelela nge-violence kwimizimba eminyama. So as a curator and artist, when I thought this was one of the best ways I could somehow engage outside the academic and outside sort of the policy system. But be involved in something that is publicly visible, and anyone can get involved. What happened in the whole Marikana thing is quite something that, as an artist, I'm very involved in. I've dedicated my own time because I cannot believe in post-94, post-apartheid, supposedly rainbow nation, democratic country, we had a massacre of that magnitude in my lifetime. I'd always thought of violence on black bodies as something quite very historical, and having sort of minor incidences happen around the country or remnants of violence. But to actually experience and witness something like that happen in this day and time, where we are supposedly so civilized and modernized, and a democratic country, how can our systems allow for such a thing? Just like in 2008, we had what people choose to call xenophobia, what I choose to call Afrophobia, black on black violence, and our government was completely silent about it. So these two events are one of the, in my lifetime, the most violent and brutal attacks on black bodies, in a post-reality. How is that possible? So my involvement here is one, as a creative who's also leaning towards very activism, and also as a curator, I was invited by a FI to curate the procession itself and think of ways of how do we. It's always difficult to deal with death of that magnitude and try to have an intellectually creative response to something that, as individuals, actually we don't have that much connection because we are not the families that got affected by it. But we try because we understand still the journey is so long for black bodies in South Africa, in Africa, where I feel we live in a world that's anti-black. And how do we reimagine ourselves in a world that's anti-black without having to say, well, I'm affirming myself because this is what you think I am as a black person, but reimagining ourselves for ourselves from the whole bit. So that's my involvement, trying to talk and think through these things that are quite huge in a creative process, but at the same time, how do we influence a shift into a more hopeful and positive and a promising future, rather than constantly being projected as bodies that are poverty and brutalized bodies and violence and disembodied bodies, as we constantly see on television screens, through media, like, oh, okay, another black person died, move on, So what happened is that Marikana happened and all of us moved on. So having this kind of event is trying to remind us not to forget, like constantly reminding us that, because if you remember not to forget, you could, make sure that this does not happen again in our lifetime or ever.
Yeah. I wish for you to aspire toward coming into your own, where boundless sense of self informs the root of your daily intention. I wish for you to enter a place where all things grounding awaits to unveil the meaning of your toiling days when it seemed you had not bed enough soul. I wish for you not to give in when your single good is muted by ill-powered majority. I wish for you to hold on to that blind truth which may never bring you worldliness, but will release you from binding murmurs, echoed in memory, etched on the birthstones of your descendants. I wish for you a legacy of generations who speak of histories not yet told because they had vision beyond the horizon. I wish for you to create your own. Leap toward incandescence within yourself, that you may arrive to love unlimited, that you may arrive to self, a legacy of generations who speak of histories not yet told because they had vision beyond the horizon. I wish for you to create your own. Leap toward incandescence within yourself, that you may arrive to love unlimited, that you may arrive to self.
Cape Town, 2014, and we're remembering the Marikana massacre. Music, poetry, and just listening to you sing now about Marikana. When did you start, and did you write the songs yourself? And what does it mean to you?
We are a group, and so when we don't really write songs, but when we jam together for rehearsals, we create stuff. And I think that this Marikana thing happened and it touched us a lot, you know, and there are people who are close to us who are related to those people who died in Marikana, and so it touched us in a way that we couldn't just not do something about it. We wanted to start writing about such stuff, you know, and then that's how the song came out.
Nasoze ngibale. I mean umdinfi kariya phiyega nonathi mthethwa konke waphinga uthethwa. Nasoze ngibale. Ubona umame ekhale Marikana nendoda ikhale Marikana soze. Andisoze ndilibale. I mean, asoze ndilibale the picture, the gory picture of a worker's dome, crushed, who will never ever come home. Andisoze ndilibale. Ubona amapolisa amnyama edubula abantu abamnyama eMarikana ngenxa yezimbiwa ezombiwa zisobiwa ngabelungu sikhona kodwa nathi andisoze ndibale. I will untie this tongue and tell my daughters and sons to resist and protest until freedom is won. I mean, I will untie this tongue and tell my daughters and sons to resist and fight for freedom until it is won.